Hi ladies, it's Angie and I'm here with your September video tutorial of the month. First we're going to be making the fall friendly or friendly fall card. I forget what I called it. It looks like this when it's finished. Somewhat like that. Some of you have a little bit different buttons in your kits, and these I had just colored those with a marker, but in your kits I added a small brad that you'll see later when I put it together. So let's get started. First, you'll need to just collect all of the supplies. You'll need the card backing, which is folded over already for you. I scored it, but I didn't use a bone folder to make it real crisp. I do that because I need you to go ahead and make sure the corners match, and then crease this very hard with your bone folder, and that way it should stay lined up on the corners. Alright, so that's the backing, and then you will secure your Very Vanilla to the front of that with the same amount of margin around on each side, and then go ahead and adhere your Designer Series paper on top of that, all with a border, so it looks something like that. So go ahead and do that right now. Next you will, let's take this crumb cake piece strip, and we're going to put the chocolate chip strip right underneath it. So just on one edge, go ahead and line it up where you'd like it with however much you'd like showing, 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch. It's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of a shadow effect. Okay, once you've gotten that adhered, we will put our brads on. Now if you would like the measurements and want them exact, your crumb cake piece, this piece of crumb cake is 1.5 inches wide. So if you place your brads at, let's see, it's 3/8 of an inch, 6/8 of an inch, and 1 1/8. Yeah, sorry, 1 1/8. Then that will be perfect. I'm just going to eyeball it right now. So what I have here is a piece of foam. You can get this foam through the catalog at Stampin' Up, and I can send that catalog number for you if you'd like that. It makes placing brads so much easier. You can just poke it through wherever you'd like it, and I put 3 in a row right on the edge, or close to the edge, wherever you like it. I didn't have extra brown brads, so I'm using black, but in your kit you will have the correct color brown to go with your card. Alright. Poke those through, and it helps if you do in advance. Go ahead and measure it out, put a little dot right on the cardstock where you'd like that to go, and then it'll look a lot better than that. But alright, this is just for the demonstration. Alright, on the back side, go ahead and open the brads up so you can adhere this piece to your Designer Series paper. Alright, now you want to get your peekaboo frame handy. Also your Friendly Phrases stamp kit. This is the peekaboo frame. I call it that because it opens and closes. Peekaboo. Your piece of Very Vanilla smaller cardstock, and the smaller piece, square piece of Designer Series paper. Okay, you will adhere the Designer Series paper right on top of the peekaboo part that opens up, the window pane. But you don't want to cover up this opening here, because we want people to know that they are supposed to open that and look what's underneath. So try to get it as close to the scored edge over here as possible, opposite of the opening. And then that horseshoe or semicircle will be visible, so people know that they can open that up, or they need to open that up. Alright, next you want to get your Friendly Phrases stamp set out. We've gotten a lot of mileage out of this stamp set for our card club. And this day, or for this card, I'm using To My Friend, and I will use my chocolate chip pad ink. And just go ahead and ink that up. And in the center, To My Friend. Alright, and now the trick to this is that you want to turn over the peekaboo frame and use your adhesive on the very back of this scalloped edge. Okay, so we want to adhere. We don't want to get it on the frame that opens up, just on the very edge of the scallops there. You don't want to put adhesive on this part of the white, because as you see, I'll show you, that's what I did when I made the example card. And this is what happens. The adhesive actually is, it's wider than we need, and it pokes through, and then, you know, the brown gets stuck to it and it looks dirty. So it just doesn't look good. So I think the best way to do this is put the adhesive right on the back of the scallops. And try not to get it there on the frame like I just did. On the frame that opens up. Okay, and then turn it over. Open up this peekaboo part so you can center it where you'd like it. And rub off on the top any adhesive that's left over. Alright, and it's not so bad that, okay, I had to stop the video there for a minute, but it's not such a big worry that there's still adhesive on the back of the scallops, because we will be using our Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up, so it won't matter in the scheme of, you know, big scheme of things. Okay, so next we want to take this crumb cake cardstock and adhere it to the center of your designer series paper. Also, you can just eye this, and there's a helicopter going by. Good timing. I hope you can still hear me. Eyeball this and just look and see where you'd like it. Looks good there. Alright, that's fine with me. And find your Stampin' Dimensionals. Hopefully you still have a few left. And I'm just going to put a few on the back to bump it up. I think one in each corner would be good. Alright, center that where you'd like it, right about there in your card. Looks good to me. Alright, now find your, I added some baker's twine, chocolate chip baker's twine for this project and also for your other project that you will be using. I like to put it around, wrap it around 3 different times. So this is where you can use your discretion. If you don't like to see it on the inside of your card, so what we're going to have to do is wrap it around 3 times in order to get the look that we have here with the 3 different strands. If you don't want to see that on in the inside of your card, that's just fine. All you would have to do is at the very beginning, before you adhere your Very Vanilla, wrap it around the Very Vanilla. Actually, what you would need to do is you'd need to put the designer series paper on your Very Vanilla, and you'd need to put this crumb cake and chocolate chip, get that all set and adhered before you adhere it to your card base. Does that make sense? So basically, so you would wrap the baker's twine around all of these layers behind the Very Vanilla, and then after you cut your baker's twine, you would adhere that whole thing onto your crumb cake card back. Alright, so I don't mind it showing in the middle of my card. Some people really don't like that, and some people don't mind at all, and I'm one of those that doesn't really mind because I usually forget to do those steps first before I adhere it to my card backing, so it's usually like that anyway, and it's not a big deal for me. But like I said, if it's a big deal for you, that's just fine. Just plan ahead and make sure you get those the baker twine on before you adhere it to the backing of the card. All right, so let's see, I cut it off, and here you can, now it's your choice. You can make a little bow on the inside or make a little bow on the outside. I think I'll just do a little bow on the outside, right up here in the corner. You can do 2 times around or 3 times around, whatever you prefer. Just make sure to tie that off. And then you can use a little extra piece, or piece of the extra. And we're going to go through, here, let me just take this out, cut a little bit of this off, and now I'm going to thread it through this button. And basically it just will give it a finished look, like the button is actually stitched, which it's not, but we're going to adhere the button onto the front of the card with Stampin' Dimensional as well. So that way, of course, it's so much harder to do when you're videoing. So bear with me. Let me just trim this edge. Oops, I took it out. All right, let's get this in. And we'll get this end in. Okay, you get the picture, I think. Oh, it's always something. Okay, so basically it's going to go through the middle and give you that stitched look. Just finishes it off. Now we're going to clip the end of that. Clip the edge or the extra off of the back. Get a Stampin' Dimensional. Go ahead and just put it on the back of the button like that. And then that goes directly on the center of your Designer Series paper. I'm going to trim some edges here. I think I want to redo this bow because it came out a little bit, but I'll trim some edges there. Like that. Alright, so this one has a little bow at the top. So there's your finished card. And basically it opens and says "To My Friend" there. And it opens, and you'll have, you know, a little bit of this baker's twine there. I like the effect of it, but like I said, if you don't, you can always fix that by going around the very vanilla piece of cardstock first instead. Alright, if you have any questions or concerns and need any extra pieces, please give me a call. Thanks, guys.